And Westdoor, as their mid laner now, he's one of the ones that he could play Twisted Fate or something like that and try and roam up to one of the lanes to really try and get something snowballing early.
Well, it's good, Kobe, that you bring up those carry top laners, because EDG, they're having none of it. They're going to ban away the Jace. They're not going to give Ziv the chance to play one of those comfort picks.
And that's always the interesting thing here, Kobe. Not only can Ziv carry, but they know Mouse. They know exactly what Mouse plays. It's usually tanks. He's got a rumble, but mostly tanks other than that. And there's a real world where it happens for Ziv. And EDG, you're expecting target bans. AHQs should be the exact same, but they're stuck on red side, so there's a little bit extra meta having to be thrown in, such as Kalista.
Yeah, a lot of bottom lane power being banned out here from AHQ. These champions are going to be very frequent in the ban phase, but AHQ definitely don't want to let iBoy and Meiko set up with any of those power picks as far as the bottom lane goes, because EDG very often do play around that bottom lane and could blow the game open.
And I will preface this, of course, with iBoy, the newest player for EDG, loves him some Kog'Maw. He is a very good Kog'Maw.
Of course, Sejuani making through the pick ban phase, surprised to see her up and available. EDG, no hesitation. They grab that one first. AHQ have to wonder what the options are for them now. Jaina available as they make their decisions, will be locked in.
Get your Ardent Sense early, boys, and they lock it in. Clearlove has played a lot of the Sejuani. She's extremely powerful right now as far as Cinderhulk junglers go. Looks like we will be matched up. Mountain, tons of Gragas play. So very comfortable champions, honestly, for both these junglers. And they are both, fairly standard and meta thus far in the pick bans.
Yeah, the double disengage composition evolved with the Janna and Gragas that has started to resurge as well. Gragas having that guaranteed engage source is big, but the Janna Gragas, whilst it's a nice combo, leaves so much open on the opposing side. Not just the Lulu, but Lulu Kog'Maw is a 2v2. It's just screaming pick me.
Oh, and it's a powerhouse on the international stage from what we've seen so far. Definitely a powerhouse in the LPL. AHQ, they know Edward Gaming. They must have something up their sleeve to give it up, and it looks like that's going to be the Twitch to balance it out.
Yeah, late game to late game. These picks are looking very similar across the board here for both of the teams right now. I like that you bring up iBoy though, right? If people see him on stage, he looks very young. This guy has only played like, what, a little bit over 20 games competitively with the game, with the team so far. But he definitely can dish out the damage, especially when he's on a comfortable champion with the buffs from Lulu.
You bring up comfortable champion. He's only played the Twitch once, so we're going to hope, or rather, he's played the Kog'Maw. Very comfortable for him. Westdoor on the opposite side, though, picking up the Twitch for On. And now have to wonder how the AD carry matchup will stack up. In the past, when Westdoor has come into the AHQ lineup, when he's been subbed in for Xiaohu, it's been kind of the Westdoor show. Now it seems like he's going to have to take a more backseat role.
He may have to, but when you're playing up against Scout, there's a real-world possibility that Westdoor just holds on as Scout, throws himself willingly into Westdoor's arms. You never really know with Scout. He's a bit of an enigma when you look at mid-lane carries. He can win the game. He could lose the game.
Definitely true, and he has been playing champions. The LeBlanc and the Lucian immediately come to mind when you think of Scout, and you think of the aggressive play style and him going for those big plays and just trying to smash the mid lane extremely hard. They do have to show early though, and AHQ are holding on to that counter pick. They're gonna let Westdoor grab the last say.
And now it's all about iBoy. If it wasn't enough already, looks like the Shen will come in. Now debating what they want to put into the mid lane. Lucian, a powerhouse pick, not one we've seen yet, now in the hands of Scout.
And blind, not knowing who his opponent is going to be. So Westdoor now gets the opportunity. I'm not going to say directly counter what a Lucian can do. It's very hard to kill the Lucian, but there's a possibility to at least have a good matchup.
It's like
this isn't one. Just quietly.
Might be the option. Always nerve-wracking. You never know what Westdoor is going to pick. Looks like it will be the Corki coming out. Now, you already said not a great matchup. Rusty, give me some insight there. Give me more.
This is a very good matchup for Lucians in the LPL at the very least. Every single time Corki gets locked in, Lucian is the counter pick to it because Phosphorus Bomb's impossible to hit. There is no world where you can press Q and connect that spell. The rest of the trading is fairly equal.
If you're CC'd by somebody else, then maybe you're going to be able to get it. And Mountain on the Gragas. Maybe we're throwing some Hail Marys here for it, see if they can actually combine. Maybe he makes an early visit there, but honestly, usually Mountain would be one to play around Ziv mostly. And even though it's Cho'Gath, and we're like, yes, it's a tank. Cho'Gath is one of those tanks that it is kind of viable, to put a little bit more resources into. He doesn't have escape of his own, so not only do you kind of get a fed Cho'Gath and a good tank that has this big true damage ult if you do play around it, but also you're kind of protecting that weakness and protecting him against getting ganked by the enemy.
And of course in the ULCS, when we see Cho'Gath going up against carries or compositions with multiple AD threats, it's a little scary because if the Cho'Gath ever gets ahead, he gets a little bit of armor. Pretty easy for him to just armor up, block so much of what they're looking to do. The Ninja Tabby, maybe an adaptive helmet if you want to shut down the Kog'Maw, but good options for the Cho'Gath across the board.
Yeah, definitely able to kill one of those carries. Granted, of course, Kog'Maw's damage gets fairly mixed. Compliments of having a Lulu even being there and being the attack speed build primarily, as most Kog'Maws will be. But the compositions are very similar between these teams, and if a tank does get ahead, it can mean the difference.
Yeah, if people are worried about the Kog'Maw mixed damage, you can use a mixed defense build that's super effective specifically for Kog'Maw. The new adaptive helm, so good against him because it does actually work on the magic damage from the W activation, and then you combine that with some Ninja Tabbies, and you have multiple reductions there for the attack speed, or for the attacks from Kog'Maw, which does work out pretty significantly as far as reducing some of that massive DPS.
Here it is, folks, our final game of day one of the 2017 World Championship group stage. I think it was semi-sister teams, the phrase that Frostgurn used to describe these. Soft sister teams. Coming in, AHQ now up against EDG. Once again, locked in groups together. Have to see who is going to make it out this time around.
And an 8-2 record in favor of EDG in total. However, the last times they have met, AHQ has been able to download them, survive the early game, and just try and outscale and get those big team fights. Well, both teams are equipped to do exactly that, so we'll have to see how this one does play out. AHQ should be incredibly familiar with EDG's playstyle, and they surely have come up with something.
Well, I'm becoming incredibly familiar with gold generation in the bottom lane. Once again, we have double Targon 80 carries, double coin supports, and I'm just going to assume that they've got gold generation runes as well on those supports to really fund the Ardent Sensors.
And now as well, it feels like we're set up for that passive back and forth farming bottom lane. Mid lane could be explosive, but top lane is 2 tanks. So talk to me, gentlemen. What are the openings? What are the opportunities? How does someone find an advantage here in the early game, if that's even what they're looking for?
For early game for EDG, I usually look to scout, right? This guy's gonna try and play aggressive, especially in this match that we were talking about there, Rusty. And when you do bring that up, then you also have to consider junglers, but that would generally be the area of the map that we're going to point towards.
Yeah, he's definitely the one winning lane when you go across the board. Cho'Gath into Shen is fairly neutralized. Shen, of course, having his W to be able to prevent any kind of damage there. This will be the place that you look at. Gragas is very good at ganking mid lane, of course, with the flash body slam. So the opening for AHQ is there. It's gank the Lucian. But for EDG, it may just be counter gank and try and get the 2v2 kill, snowball that lane, translate it to the rest of the map.
And we just had SKTC9. That felt like it was all about the mid lane. Once again, mid laners are the center of attention here. Bot laners, as you mentioned, the Ardent meta means everybody's pretty content to farm, although On is getting aggressive, not letting iBoy stay comfortable on that Kog'Maw in this laning phase.
The correct way to play against someone who is having their first experience on the world stage and just became of age in July, I believe, with only 24 odd games under his belted experience.
3 of them on Kog'Maw, looks like 3 wins as well, so good look for iBoy. Definitely comfort surrendered over to him. In bot lane, a lot of trading. Top lane appears to be Shen favored for now. Level 6 will be the big deciding factor, as it usually is with these tanky top laners. Once again, always comes back to the middle lane. Comes back to Westdoor and Scout. Westdoor already suffering. 20 CS to 12 as the wave crashes into his tower. Scout so confident, he takes a cold into this laning phase matchup.
Yeah, not too worried about the combination there with Gragas or the gank coming through. Westdoor himself actually is a little bit more scared, it looks like, of the CC coming from Sejuani, or even the combination eventual Shen ultimate. That could very well be used in the mid lane as well. Mountain, though, good scene on his way out of the jungle. Scout's going to give him a little tap on the way.
Big game of chicken, of course. We're highlighting Scout. Amongst all of the LPL mid laners down on the bottom of your screen, he has been an outstanding performer. All of the stats are in his favor. He has been the winning or losing factor of EDG. The fact that they won the title indicates that his stats should be very good.
Yeah, the finals was an incredible performance for him. Flickering very, very hard. LeBlanc as well. Westdoor doing okay there, trying to hold up, but
Oh, okay, maybe. It's very early and it's a 10 CS deficit. Things are grim.
There's extra minions there.
But
for him.
to be fair, historically, when we look at Westdoor as a player, laning phase has never been his big strength. He's always been on roamers. He's always been on champions that can leave the lane and make plays elsewhere. He's not always about the 1v1, at least not in recent years. Zv taking the backside of this matchup, though. Mouse doing pretty well, but pressure in favor of AHQ.
Very difficult to push into a Shen and try and keep the wave under a turret. Mouse even missing a cannon minion just to stop Zv from recalling somewhere super close to try and get some vision. Has to check, is he actually recalling or is he going to ward near the Gromp where Clearlove is? That's very important information.
Yeah, and I am, let's give a little context here to the pace of the game, right? Because LMS this season has been incredibly slow, actually. Going back and watching a lot of them, a lot of the first bloods don't even come till the junglers are after level 6. And AHQ, fairly content to go fairly slow here. Clearlove was looking for a possible move here onto Cho'Gath, but gonna abort that mission as well.
All right, I talked a little bit about Cho'Gath getting a lot of armor to shut people down. Let's talk a little bit about Corki getting a lot of armor to shut people down.
Oh, geez.
That's
Yeah,
Bramble Vest on Westdoor in the mid lane. Things are looking grim already, Kobe.
Yep, so Bramble Vest, it's a very cheap investment in terms of armor, but it's all for the healing. Reduction, Lucian goes towards Vamp Scepter, may have Blade of the Ruined King rushed early on, but right now, as it stands, Westdoor can afford to trade because he will just stand there with a Gatling gun on and just try and blast Scout.
Tank Corki, it's next level. Counters the Cull and the Vamp Scepter. Jungler's gonna make an appearance in the mid lane, but don't think there'll be much action.
And there's probably an argument for it procs on the double shot. Double shot does significantly reduce damage. Maybe you're getting something back, but this is definitely not a I'm gonna win lane kind of choice for Westdoor. And now while we wait, maybe the junglers, maybe the bottom lanes to get some items to play some action, we just have to keep our eyes on Westdoor in this mid lane. Because Scout, definitely the kill pressure will start to mount here.
And you know, in a weird way, Dracos, it almost is an I'm gonna try and win lane type of item build because it gives you the early strength, it gives you tank stats immediately, but at the one item spike, well, he's significantly delayed and should not be winning them.
Well, you gotta recognize what type of player you are and what situation you're in. You know, he's building in a situation where, hey, I'm gonna take a lot of auto attacks. You know, this guy is gonna beat me up a lot. What's good if I'm taking a lot of auto attacks and they have lifesteal? Yeah, Bramble Vest, there you go.
And knowing Westdoor, he's
Oh, get lawyered.
Stay humble. Westdoor staying humble in the mid lane. Bot lane though,
Yeah.
iBoy getting a lot more confident. We've seen this, of course, over the Kog'Maw games we've seen in this tournament and back in the local leagues as well. Once Kog'Maw gets a few levels under his belt, it is a lot more comfortable to push out. Recurve boat definitely helping there, and Clearlove may make his presence known on the bottom
We have
side.
hit level 6 on Shen as well, so the opportunity to go straight in is there.
On Collymore, moving forward. Kog'Maw dishing out a decent amount of damage, now pulling back. Lulu going to flash out to trade tower aggro on, running for his life. He is stealthed up, and that's going to be first blood for the Twitch as the poison ticks down. The backfire for AEG. iBoy, the heal and the barrier used to save him out.
Yeah, forces the barrier on the back end. Cho'Gath was able to cancel Mouse, I believe, with his teleport, but that was a shared feeling as they're just going to stay top lane. AHQ countered that incredibly well.
Yeah, nobody there for EG had a very good way of starting off the dive and then quickly dropping the aggro. Meiko has to tank it, and then he flashes forward up into dangerous territory there, having already expended the heal. Then he has no flash, and he's a support Lulu now, deep in enemy territory. First blood, handed over to AHQ, and this could be the way that they get in this, right? This is an Ardent Sensor meta, and you just gave over first blood to the bottom lane. The Shen Stand United was even used in this proactively by EDG, but interrupted critically by the Cho'Gath on top side.
iBoy, of course, uses the barrier to barely live. Westdoor wasn't able to come and help in that situation, so idealistically for like EDG, it was an okay move. It was the correct decision to look at bottom lane and pressure it. The dive itself, perhaps not so much. There could have been a world where you just pressure them.
Definitely not so much. The kill credit goes over to this Twitch. You know, On will be very happy to try and get to his crit multipliers early on Twitch. We talked about before in the last game, Rusty, Kog'Maw, he's great on one item nowadays, right? Everyone used to talk about, oh, he has to scale in the late game, but he's actually one of the earlier spiking as far as these hyper carry AD carry champions now. But Twitch still wants to get the crits coming through. As it looks like On is going to have some good use for the extra gold.
And of course, to talk about Twitch as well, to contrast the one item spikes, most Twitches will go towards a Runan's Hurricane Rush when their support is a Janna. It means that you will also spike at one item when you've got a Janna next to you. whenever she's not there, you're still a little bit weaker. You're trusting the RNG crit to try and do all of that damage, but when those two stay as a duo, it's trying to match the item spike timing of the Ardent Sensor with a Hurricane, just as a Cogmore does, and matching their 2v2 strength.
Of course, one thing to be concerned about is the Shen on the top side of the map, so now a lot more pressure onto Ziv to stop the Shen from going anywhere, to be the stronger scaling tank, and he has been such a huge crux for this team when it comes to previous success.
Yeah, some very nice stats for Ziv, to say the least. The fact that he's able to constantly push forwards, his CS difference is fantastic. Ziv is the playmaker in certain ways for the team, who hasn't had the best season ultimately, but come to the world stage, he could bounce back big.
Now, trying to punish, trying to find an opportunity. Mouse ult up and available. Looks like bot lane remains the center of attention, as is standard in the kind of Shen game. Mid lane still a weak point for AHQ. Scout getting a lot of CS, getting the blue buff as well, but hasn't been able to turn this into a larger advantage.
Yeah, but is he trying to shoot Westdoor anymore, huh? He's not going for that harassment, you see? He's been deterred by the Bramble Vest early. That being said, HQ, they have a decent amount of vision around the dragon. Well, now he's going for the trade. It's about
Westdoor goes
there.
even.
See, if you use your culling, though, you don't need to lifesteal through it. That's thinking with portals.
But now the first Ardent Sensor is going to go over to AHQ, courtesy of the earlier aggressive play. Runance comes out as well. This is the first item spike. If Cog and Lulu don't back and get a similar item, this will be advantage to the AHQ bot lane, as we saw from the earlier play.
And this is that moment in the game where a Twitch disappears and you're like, oh boy, is that a mid lane Twitch, or is he top lane right now? Are they lane swapping? We don't know where he's going to be. The submarine could be anywhere at any moment, and that's something that EDG will have to consider as they do continue to scale themselves, but you can see the item choice differences here. Going straight towards the Ninja Tabi for the Cogmore, doesn't want to rush his Guinzu's Rage Blade. Looks like survivability is the name of the game.
Well, Clearlove getting it canceled out there. Mountain now working his way to the bottom side. He knows that he has the stronger bot lane right now, maybe hoping to press this advantage.
It's interesting that instead of, using the vision that they have and the extra notification they just got, Clearlove recalling here, they don't use their pushing bottom lane, their jungler, and the fact that the mid laner just recalled to take that dragon. HQ very well could have just scooped up this Cloud Drake, but they've put that kind of pressure that they had, that little window for crit and play, into this bush camp, which doesn't seem to be gaining them much.
Hasn't gained them much yet. You can see Meiko, he's flirting with disaster. He wants to ward that bush. You can see it in his eyes, and Mountain just decided that it's too late. Might leap over the wall here, but if the ward sees him, could be bad news. Clearlove won't face him in the jungle, but Mountain, he's watching. Splinter Cell, watcher. Splinter Cell, baby. Sneaking into the jungle. May look to steal away some small raptors. He's going to grab 3, so maybe a worthwhile.
All of that vision that Mountain's trying to provide. Opportunities are there, but EDG are playing so reserved that to get the ganks off at all, to even want a body slam there might be too risky.
Yeah, I mean, I know people really don't like Cloud Drakes, but 3 small chickens
30
compared to
versus 25, Kobe. That's math. Quick math.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's see what EDG can do with this. As you can see there, definitely had a very, very strong performance in China. 2014, 15, and 16. 4 final finishes. Able to come out in the first seed in 2017. The first game here up in Wuhan, where Clearlove is from. Runs out in the bottom lane. He's clearing out a lot of that ward work that Mountain got done.
Well, the bot lane has been kind of contentious, a lot of back and forth. The other lanes have been working out sort of as expected. Scout taking it to Westdoor. Westdoor doing his best to keep it even. We look at the top side of the map. Ziv doing a very good job of being the top side carry that AHQ so frequently need. But he is still trapped in that lane phase. He can't break out of it quite yet. He's not that strong.
He is trapped, but it's not a crazy amount of trap that he's going to find himself stuck in. Mouse doesn't have a Titanic Hydra completed yet, goes towards the Spectre's Cow, rushes that extra bit of magic resistance and healing that can come about from that item. And until there's a Titanic Hydra, Ziv should still have the push, still have the ability to leave lane, be unlocked. That control ward should really never be in jeopardy as he controls the wave. And it makes it hard for Mouse to be unlocked as Shen and ult other lanes.
Yeah, Ziv has done a good job of sticking to Mouse. We saw him interrupt before when he tried to use the Stand United in the bottom lane dive. And he's really been able to keep track of them. That's what Cho'Gath's looking for here. They both do have their teleports. so that's another option, but as of right now, just changing a few Grasp of the Undying.
We're waiting for
there.
the Warmogs and the Gargoyle Stoneplate before Ziv starts being a real 1v1 threat, although a few more levels under his belt may help these stacks starting to scale up as well.
He has, however, started to go towards the item build that you mentioned before, barring the Ninja Tabby, of course, where the Adaptive Helm may be the item of choice here for him. Of course, the Abyssal Mask is another option if he wants to be super aggressive. Curious to see which direction Ziv goes and how he's going to be super useful in team fighting up against the Cogmore.
All right, AHQ are going to scoop up that Cloud Break. Mountain decides they are going to take this one. Nice pushing bottom lane there again on, and Albus also deserve a lot of credit for taking that objective. And they'll be happy to get that one on the board. They also have very, very small gold lead. You know, a lot of that is Ziv on the top side where the Cho'Gath has been kind of keeping up a decent amount of pressure on Mouse.
Given the struggle of the mid lane and Westdoor falling so significantly behind, it is a good look for AHQ right now. The bottom lane, as you mentioned, pressuring out, taking a slight edge over iBoy, but AHQ playing back. They're not looking to force a fight there. They know mid lane's not in a great spot. They do not want to go toe-to-toe with Scout on the Smoothie.
Scout wants to go toe-to-toe with anyone who's in front of him at the moment. It makes a lot of sense when Lucian is this far ahead. But the reason that the Cloud Drake looks so free to take, the reason that there's so much control seemingly for AHQ on the bottom side of the map revolves mostly around those item spikes that we've seen for almost 5 minutes now, it feels like, for AHQ, rushing the Hurricane, where there's only a blasting one picked up in the last purchase by iBoy. That feels really bad.
Yeah, when you cannot fully complete the Rage Blade, this is the worst feeling time of that build for Kog'Maw. You know, obviously the AP doesn't give a whole bunch as far as combat effectiveness for him, and that's kind of the trough that he does have to deal with. Meanwhile, EDG really regretting how that dive went. The extra kill going over to Twitch, kind of funding his move towards the Infinity Edge that should come in next, are going to make HQ feel really good about that. Westdoor going to have to flash out of that one, though.
Finally finding a big advantage for Scout in the mid lane outside of just CS, forcing Westdoor out of lane pretty easily. May look to rinse and repeat the next time the culling is available, but luckily for EDG, it's not just Scout. First items have come through for the bottom lane for iBoy. The Gwinsu's now finished. No more awkward blasting one. Can start to fight back against the Twitch here for now.
And it's one of those moments where EDG will just say, finally we can contest the 2v2. Finally we can fight and try and control that lane. And this is usually the lane that EDG will look towards. They want to try and dive bottom. And now it's still realistic even after the hiccup earlier on.
Yeah, looks like on here wants to at least get enough money for the BF sword part of the Infinity Edge before he goes back. The Kog'Maw right now, though, iBoy looking to make his new toy work. Goes for a lot of exchanges there with the Rage Blade stacked up.
So much of the gold you can see as we're highlighting now coming from the difference.
They didn't spot the Sejuani there.
They might want to use this Shen ultimate proactively. The tell would be if Mouse backs off topside, keep your eyes on the mini-map. If he backs off a good distance from Ziv, then HQ would have to worry about that coming in. They're even bringing down Scout.
Small window of opportunity as Shen clears the wave and backs off before the two new waves meet in the middle. Will EDG capitalize on it? Taking their time here, not looking to get over aggressive. Mountain's ready for the fight though.
I think he's just there for defense, and it's a very good call for HQ not to go aggressive in this sense and kind of be just ready for the possible action. But yeah, the double disengage that Rusty talked about in Champ Select is really what they wanted to use there. Just to get Gragas in place for it, and always well aware of the Janet ultimate as well.
Yeah, Nan's positioning was never going to get him caught in the end as you were looking at that 2v2. Now, I'm a little bit sad it didn't work out for EDG because of the way they got themselves into that lane. His mid lane once again.
Now pushing in, that's the Stand United. Culling comes out, no flash for Westdoor this time around, so Scout more than comfortable to just bring it home and find the first kill for EDG.
Just continue to lane, continue to get that 1v1. Scout starts off strong, he continues strong. Clearlove wants to help him get the turret, but Mountain will smartly stop that one. However, that's a big amount of momentum going to Scout. That's so important for EDG.
Yeah, rough for Westdoor. He does complete his Trinity Force on backing, and you know he can ping that Shen's ultimate is down, but it's more money into Scout's pockets. His Cole is popped as well, and EDG, more pressure on that mid turret. That would be where they could just blow this open. Below 50% already.
Scout just not even scared, not even intimidated by Mountain. Knows that he's comfortable. Has a Hex Drinker as well. Magic damage, not a problem. More than enough sustain to keep it up. And iBoy, it only takes one item, but suddenly the tempo of bottom lane has completely turned around on AHQ.
And this mid lane turret will go down eventually, of course. We get to watch the 1v1 again. Westdoor against Scout. The culling was used smartly from Scout here to go to the side, force Westdoor to stay in range of the last auto attack. Note, of course, the ultimate didn't go through from Shen in the end.
Yep, didn't really matter there. He was able to get assist money with it, too. And the communication there from Scout saying, hey, I burned Westdoor's flash earlier. I'm going to take this all in. Westdoor tries to defend that pink ward, and it costs him his life. Bottom turret actually falls even before the mid one, so EDG about to really open up some extra territory here on Summoner's Rift to work with.
Once it starts to break, that advantage is going to start to spill over into Ziv's lane. The one man who has been doing well, who has been building an advantage kind of all by himself in this vacuum, is going to start to have a lot more people, a lot more problems on his plate, and that is a concern for AHQ.
Which is curious when you look at Ziv's itemization as well. He's gone straight towards what is going to be the Gargoyle Stone Plate, acknowledging this game is in a pretty rough state, accelerating it before completing any kind of Catalyst item as well. So now the Catalyst will just sit there potentially for quite some time.
Shifting Cho'Gath back to the bottom side. Looks like they've assigned Westdoor to hold on to the top lane. Still a difficult ask up against the Kog'Maw and the Lulu as iBoy works towards that rune and second item on the way. We talked about On and the potential for this Twitch to roam, to make plays. Has not found the opportunity yet, but maybe it'll be a bit easier now that he's found a home in the mid lane. The Mountain looking to collapse. Meiko, immediate flash out, no hesitation. Westdoor, the one who's going to back off. TP's going to get mashed. Will they be completed? AHQ ready for a fight. Ziv wants to turn this one back in his favor, but iBoy now free hitting onto the front line. Cho'Gath not tanky enough. Fight that one back.
Here comes On.
Retreat on ready. Spray and pray coming out. Two members locked up. Monsoon to heal the squad. Scout now trying to turn this one back in their favor, but EDG is in trouble because the Twitch is just going rampant. But Ziv gets taken down. Lucian going in, moving forward. Triple kill, but not enough. Quadra comes in for Twitch in the end.
Holy moly, the kiting here from HQ. They hold on to the Janna ultimate for so late for the re-engage to just apply the Ardent Sensor to all members and immediately flip that switch and turn around, going aggressively and picking up all the kills. It would have been a disaster for EDG if it wasn't for Scout coming up and melting the front line.
Bunch of mechanical plays coming out of both of these teams. Arn steps up and gets 4, but Janna does a fair amount of work for getting those kills. Scout is incredible on the back end of this, as we'll take a look at the fight.
All right, so this is how it starts out. Westdoor goes in, he's the initiator. Mountain's gonna keep it up here, and he actually threw the ultimate over there. He was predicting a flash, it looked like. Even though Ziv gets chunked out very heavily there, that's a bunch of CC down. You can tell they're making the call. Hey, we're gonna turn around with Janna ultimate, Ardent Sensor on everybody, let's go. Twitch opens up, Westdoor's even on the front line, but Scout is melting them on the bottom side here. Able to take out the front line, flashes in for the Janna kill, and then point blank, barely able to finish off On in the end. Poison still gets the last hit though.
Such a close fight.
And honestly, just amazing performance from Scout, coming in clutch from the team, needed him. Great patience from AHQ. But now the scary thing is that's a 2-1-2 Lucian. He's doing great. That's a 5-1 Twitch coming up huge in these team fights.
We talked about trying to fund those crit multipliers. Infinity Edge fully purchased here, and he's on to the next Zeal item already. So Twitch is definitely going to be the main focus for all of EDG in the next team fight. They're going to have to find ways to get their CC past the Cho'Gath, past this Gragas, and find a way to take down On, which is going to be difficult considering all the disengage they have.
Exactly, they've got the Janna, the Gragas, even Cho'Gath, if he wants to play defense, can try and keep Arn alive. Corki, when he has a package, still quite good at zoning people and keeping Arn alive, who has those 2 items. And EDG's composition but going forwards is not ideal.
The only other thing EDG could do would be maybe all huddle under the Spirit's Refuge of Shen. 5 people
block those autos, baby. Double 80 carries,
autos.
not anymore. 0 for a second and a half. But this feels like it puts so much pressure now onto Mouse and onto Clearlove as the big sources of engage, the big opportunities to force fights. And that is tough to hit that Glacial Prison, to find a way to line that up with your back line. Even when you do, it might be even more difficult to win out on the fight. But putting the fate in Clearlove's hands feels like it might be the right choice for you.
And if you are a HQ, though, responding to that, the one thing you're waiting for is a QSS on Twitch. Once you get the Quicksilver Sash, you're ready to fight. Because then a Shen Flash Taunt just puts Shen closer to you. And that's the best thing ever for the Twitch in that situation. Like, heck yeah, I could auto-attack the heck out of him, and now he can't use Spirit's Refuge to save his team because I have an ultimate and a Hurricane that'll blast you all. So I'm ready for it from Arn, but it needs to be the QSS.
And we thought this might be an EDG favored match. If we look at the historical match between these two teams, we thought EDG would have the edge, but a single fumble on the bottom lane is punished. A single team fight from AHQ to bring the advantage in their favor, but still, the goal is so close. It is Scout who's keeping EDG in this, but it's going to be poised for some explosive fights as we move later.
As Xiaohu talked about, this wasn't really the matchup that they wanted, the group draw that they wanted, but not only do EDG know them well and have practiced against them a lot, HQ as well, no EDG in and out.
iBoy
they're turning.
One back, Mouse moving forward. This is the engage they wanted. On into trouble. That's the prison, and he's gonna get taken down. EDG with a beautiful fight.
So good from EDG, but the fight's not over. They want the turret.
Oh, Westdoor, the last remaining source of reliable damage. Ziv still with the feast up. Maybe they can contest this, but the Twitch going down is everything for AHQ.
Yeah, they fought before his flash came back up, and Clearlove was able to hit that long-range Sejuani ultimate to punish him. They take a turret afterwards, and EDG strike back.
iBoy obviously wants to get as much as he can from this while he's pushing him, but I'm pretty sure that's it, EDG. Call it and go back to base if you've got some items to spend. We are at 25 minutes in this game, and another team fight like that without the mid lane outer turret available could actually be a Baron. Something to keep in mind.
The goal is starting to even up as well between the 80 carries. Still a massive advantage for Scout in the mid lane, but might not be enough. He needs to find an avenue onto the back line, and for now, he can just be happy that Clearlove and Mouse are able to bring that one home on the back of some good CC. But on 3 items completed, QSS probably next. Maybe that's when things start to shift back.
Just watch iBoy during this. The fact that he's like, all right, we're fighting. Let's just turn around and go straight in. Trust Mouse, and they go forwards. And Clearlove, sniper.
Super good ultimate there from him to find the Twitch, and they punish HQ really well there. HQ was, you know, the entire team wasn't on board with that opening. I think they chased it a little bit too far. They weren't expecting that quick collapse from EDG, who all just rallied around iBoy and were able to defend.
And we talked about defensive builds. You see a Bramblebest in the mid lane, but now it looks like a Randuin's Omen coming in for iBoy on the bottom side. Ninja Tabby, the crit damage reduction as well. You're not going to do as much damage as a fight, but Twitch is much less of a threat when you're taking away 20% of every one of those crits.
Honestly, this is what the designers wanted. You recognize the situation you're in. This Twitch got a bunch of early kills, so the crits are going to be a big problem. There's an anti-crit item in the game, so
and
go
there might
ahead
be
and build
3 Randuin's Omens coming out when you look at the item builds of EDG. That's like a full reactionary play to it.
Twitch does hit multiple people, so they're all going to get use.
And that's the thing we have to remember too, is that this is not damage that you can affect, right? You can get a Last Whisper, you can stop the armor portion of that being relevant, but you can't stop the Ninja Tabbies, and you can't stop that Randuin's passive.
All right, well, this is going to lower the damage profile here for EDG. Scout is still building primarily DPS. He has the slight defenses that we always see from the common Lucian builds and the Hexbringer thrown in there, but it is going to lower a little bit of the Cogmat damage later on. See if Scout can kind of carry the extra load.
And wow, if you ever wanted to know the story of this game in graph form, well, here it is for you. Very back and forth. A small fumble from AHQ or from EDG gets AHQ control, and now this continues to be kind of a breakneck pace in terms of shifts.
The goal difference, of course, was fluctuating between 1K, which is why it looks like a roller coaster of the 1K lead, a 1K deficit, going 2K back and forth. So that will be the kind of graph that changes drastically with the next fight, where what you can gain on the map increases significantly.
Baron, the big talk, 28 minutes in. Have to keep our eyes. Whoever gets this is going to have the first really large advantage in this game. One that could set you up to take this one home. But it will take a team fight, it will take a pick, it will take something from either side to find that edge.
This is a fun meta to play, like name that champion. If I give you half of the build, okay. We've got a Ninja Tabby.
Got it.
Randuin's Omen.
Got it.
And a Relic Shield. What champion, that's half the build, what would you say that would normally be?
Top laner, a tank, maybe.
Or,
probably.
Maybe the jungle, but not, that's a Kog'Maw this time around. iBoy still also going to be able to put out a decent amount just based off those base damages of the W and the attack speed and the power you get out of the Ginsu's, but very curious to see how this next team fight goes, because
this is not a build we see. I'm going to be interested to see how much damage this Kog'Maw actually does. What going away from a third offensive item is actually going to cost him in these fights.
I mean, in a weird way, we have seen enough of this in the LPL here and there, just to kind of, like, Kog'Maws can build this because they've got an Ardent Senses shielding support to keep them doing extra damage. So like a 3-item spike, it compensates well enough. And instead of going something like a Frozen Mallet, which is a bit of AD and a lot of health, you can go the Randuin Drought instead.
Westdoor in trouble. Talk about picks, openings for Baron. It's not going to happen, but Westdoor will burn both sums.
Well, let's see if the more traditional Twitch here with the QSS now picked up, Rusty, if he'll be able to carry the next team fight. Because the overall gold is very close, but the individual focuses of that gold I know are very different for these teams. And so far, HQ have been able to control the Dragons. But right now, there is an Ocean Drake up, and that would be a possibility for another confrontation.
Will they fight for that one? Clouds weren't heavily contested. HQ firmly holding those. We'll let them get quicker around the map. Ocean, very important as we move later, especially when you're sieging with Baron buff, but not quite the same power it would have in the early laning phase. Both 80 carries on the side of EDG, trying to figure out who actually wants this farm. Scout decides it's him. Yeah, it's the Scout.
And so one other thing we do need to talk about before the inevitable team fight that we'll see is the support itemization choices as well. It's a Mikhail's, not just the QSS, that's going to be trying to keep Arn alive, keep him going in the fights, but it's a redemption on the opposite side for Meiko with the Ardent Sensor, and so they'll, as a 5-man grouping, collectively have more health that isn't there on the side of AH.
Yeah, redemption and a tankier build path for the Kog'Maw as well. We'll see what counts more, but with Mikhail's and the QSS, both major forms of CC can be canceled out, even if EDG do find a good engage on a more vulnerable target. So it is going to be even more difficult than it was previously. Last time On didn't have a flash. Last time On was a little bit out of position. This time he's got the flash, he's got the whole team behind him, and he's got 2 ways to get out of that CC. It's going to take a very decisive collapse from EDG. May not have found it yet, but the vision control definitely in their favor as they do own the pit.
That was a... Alright, for a second it looked like they wanted a Baron, and then as they used spells they realized it was a bad idea.
Just giving him a couple of slaps, let him know who's boss.
With that
coming back for you, buddy. They do have the control ward set up though, and EG look like they want a pick here. As long as AHQ don't kind of rush ahead and have the Twitch walking through a control ward, they should be okay though.
And of course, we keep an eye on the top laners as well. Looks like Shen's going to solo start up the Ocean Drake on the bottom side. Now it's trying to find an opportunity to take this while the rest of the team is occupied.
This could be a moment of thank you, good sir, if Cho'Gath showed up and just decided to dominate, but he's not going to go that way as they simultaneously pressure mid and allow some extra hidden time there for the Shen to continue to work on the Drake.
And Gragas, who's looking for the collapse with the due diligence on the side of EDG with the vision placed in AHQ's jungle, reveals the play before it happens, and it means that is going to be the free Ocean Drake.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if Mouse being invisible on the map forces Ziv to say, okay, he's grouping right now for some kind of objective like Baron, or he's going to try and force my teleport. So what if I just group up instead? And it was almost like a pump fake that was an Ocean Drake all along.
Never going to expect the Shen solo Ocean Drake.
During the stream, though, which is global, so they got notification. Mountain gets a control ward that's inside of the Baron pit for their troubles, and they are able to get some of this vision control back for AHQ's favor.
Yeah, almost complete control right now until EDG are able to reset and try and re-establish some of that vision. For the moment, it's walking around saying, are they actually doing the Baron? Because honestly, they couldn't tell for that 10-second window. AHQ going to show their respects, though. They need to recall and re-establish vision themselves, knowing that EDG are about to kill it all.
Both teams trading back and forth. Neither team looking to push too far into the enemy jungle, risk getting picked off. Both teams doing the Baron dance, but who's actually going to know the moves here? Who's going to take the next step? Try something a little bit fancy. Because at the moment, it is just a trade of vision. The push back and forth in the mid lane. Very standard Baron play.
I have to say, if you run the 5-on-5 setup team fight through the simulator right now, the team with the properly built end game, hyper carry champion will win that so many more times than the one with the less damage output here. Lucian has to get in there. Range is short, so it's not super reliable. And the Kog'Maw here not going to be able to match up to this, even armor penetration now complementing On's build with the Twitch. This is kind of a point where if I am AHQ, I'm quite ready to force one of these fights, especially if you consider the front lines, in addition to the back lines, a Cho'Gath has the heads-up advantage in a frontline battle because he can apply that true damage and does provide more in the 5-on-5 than the Shen.
Yeah, if he's able to ever get into that team fight, it'll be super significant. Right now, though, when you're looking at the items, both mid laners are also blocked with complete item builds by having mid-game items of a Bramble Vest and a Hex Drinker for Scout, so they're going to be stuck at the items they have for quite a while. Slight edge to Scout being a BF Sword perhaps over the Crit Cloak of Westdoor. But you're right, Arn has 4 complete items, and whilst iBoy just got a Wit's End for himself, if no one touches Arn and no one touches iBoy, you'd say AHQ definitely win that.
Interesting too, you have to wonder, as it's a very slow-paced game thus far. AHQ not ready to take that big risk, not ready to take that 5-on-5. We talked about this history of the matchup, how well both of these teams know each other, and both teams very aware that the next fight could just decide the game. Maybe hesitating on pulling that trigger, because EDG, they're the ones consistently taking control here. AHQ have stopped pushing in deeply for that vision. They're placing control wards just to control their own jungle, and that might lose them the dance in the long run.
It does feel like the control still belongs with EDG, even though it's a small amount of control. Mountain putting all of his efforts towards countering what EDG are doing, which means they're always in there first, they're always recalling first, re-establishing first, and you're waiting for that one moment to break out where they say, all right, let's just do the Baron and see if AHQ react to it, because of how patient and respectful and slow AHQ are responding to everything with.
On. Maybe find an opportunity on to clear love for now, just protecting the vision. Still hard to kill this Quani, but Westdoor's on the backside. That's going to be an engagement they're looking for. In comes Corky, but it might not matter because Scout's going to get taken down. On is still up and alive. The double engagement is more than enough, but Scout lives way longer than he should. And suddenly the fight's turning back. iBoy trying to find the opportunity to free hit onto the back line. Not going to get an opportunity because AHQ are pushing forward. They found the pick that they needed. They found their fight, and they may find the Baron.
Yeah, they're going to force Mouse back to base. He does have a teleport. EDG pushing up the mid lanes, and then they may use that teleport and try to collapse, but it's too late.
Shogoth has the feast. This should just be a free Baron.
Guaranteed. iBoy running away now. Team knows that they have to disengage. Mouse completes the TP as well. Massive advantage right now to AHQ. They can't control the tempo. EDG just doing what they can to clear these waves.
One thing I would say though, On did use his flash at the end of that team fight, so both summoners are down on the Twitch right now, whereas Scout, even though he got knocked in, did not blow his flash. So Scout and iBoy both have summoners available for the next team fight. That being said though, Baron is a huge prize, and we'll see if the power play lasts long enough for AHQ to actually wait for the Twitch's flash to come back up. Here's another look at how they forced Scout into the middle of the end.
Of course, the part we didn't see where Scout was suddenly half health just gets thrown into a bounce house, even though he lives for quite some time. And you're seeing this moment, Arn's doing a lot of work, but iBoy's got the perfect position, and instead of choosing to fight, EDG are like, okay, we've lost it, let's not try and take something that is far too risky when Ziv has the ultimate there. Let's just back away and let them win this battle today.
Now for the next 2.5 minutes, AHQ own the map. Can they start to break inhibitors? Can they break open the base? Or will EDG capitalize on those summoner spells and force a fight in their favor?
Yeah, the ideal situation for HQ right now is to pick up a bunch of outer turret gold, but they want to work with the double cannon minion wave right now. Extra pressure on this inhibitor turret while they have Westdoor run up the middle and try and get that secondary turret.
And that's really hard to do if you're AHQ. They will get some inner turrets, they won't get the bottom lane inhibitor you'd have to expect, just because their crowd control and their engage is weak, but EDG,
they're looking to start the fight. That is going to be Jenna immediately taken out. Scout is still alive, but has to lead the fight as quickly as he can. On is untouched, but suddenly is getting ripped through. That's the double kill. It is iBoy who is popping off, but Ziv fires back. An even fight, an even exchange, but EDG looking to keep it going, and suddenly Ziv is taken off. iBoy with the passive coming in clutch.
And from the grave, iBoy gets himself a third kill. EDG against the Baron buff. AHQ are able to take out 4, and Westdoor nowhere to be seen. Has to just limp away. EDG bounce back.
And Wuhan erupts. The crowd goes crazy. They are ready to see EDG turn this back in their favor.
Look at this engagement here. He's able to CC Janna from 100 to 0. So no extra steroids apart from the redemption are there to protect the carry. Twitch goes down after that. You know, the heart of the team is out for Westdoor, or is out for AHQ. And to top it all off, Kog'Maw even gets the kill with the passive, chasing down Gragas.
Now Elder Dragon on the menu. Cho'Gath, maybe he can feast away, but he's still dead, and that means that one's going to be comfortably in the control of EDG. 48 seconds left on the Baron. It means ball is back in EDG's court. They're the ones looking to take control.
And that's the prize ultimately for winning the team fight. They wait until iBoy is alive as well, ensuring everybody on the team has got themselves the Elder Drake buff. And funnily enough, in that last fight, there was a moment where I was like, hey, where's iBoy? Of course, he's in the middle next to a Cho'Gath. Didn't really see him there for a second, but hey, welcome.
Yeah, he's half tank here. Kog'Maw, maybe even more than half at this point. He's got the Guardian Angel up and running as well.
He's got like 3.5 tank items and 2.5 damage items. So, tank Kog'Maw, friends.
There we go. See if the story is different this time around, though, because we keep tracking carry summoner spells, and they're going to be desynced because they've been used in the opposing team fights here. The only extra thing here, the extra damage with the true damage burn for Elder Dragon is going to be so helpful for the more tanky EDG squad that they've got with this lineup. So they really want to make use of this Elder Dragon extra buff they have for the meantime.
Definitely true. At the same time, having the summoner spell advantage that you mentioned, Kobe, means that for all intensive purposes, AHQ should be in the driver's seat for the coming team fight, and EDG may just want to hold on, let the Elder Dragon run its course so that they get their summoner spells back and want to meet in the middle for a set 5v5, particularly iBoy's summoners.
And iBoy has been a strong contender in this game. Pretty good on the 4-2-4. Fearless as he goes to those 80 carries right in the middle. And AHQ not looking to take the fight, not looking to take that 5v5, not wanting to concede an inhibitor either, but comfortable giving up that tier 2 in the face of the Elder Dragon buff.
Feels like that's most of the battles we've been seeing here, is nobody wants to take the fight, but eventually you have to take it. That's when they choose to take it.
Westdoor having nothing to do with that taunt. No Shadow Dash. He's not going to be the one to get picked off. Doesn't want to burn the cleanse again. He's about to get it back up as he has it now available. And gentlemen, this is one of those games where outside of that Elder Dragon buff, I don't feel like anyone has a massive advantage. One team fight still feels like it decides everything. So despite everything, despite the Baron, despite the pickoff, despite the one team fight from EDG, this is still anybody's game. Anyone can take this, and that's a terrifying place to be.
It is a lot about how you're going to set up these team fights. So what we're looking for now are the precursors there, and those are primarily them moving out and trying to get those control wards down, opening up these pockets, you know, of fog of war, where you can actually be the ones initiating, right? There's such a different story if Janna doesn't get 100-0 at the beginning of that team fight. If you have your Gragas and your Cho'Gath on the front lines from the beginning, it becomes so much more difficult for EDG to actually work through that team fight. But if you cut out, you know, all the steroids that Janna's giving at the very beginning, it's a much better.
Off to the side, iBoy's gonna get knocked back. They're gonna try to rip through his health bar. Immediately he gets taken down, but he has the Xiye. He's coming back. It's a brief pause in the fight. He's gonna get revived. He's gonna try to make it out to safety, and he's alive for now. EDG are peeling beautifully, but they're not making a dent into the side of AHQ. Mountain's gotta back off. Pulling almost cleans him up, but it's an even fight. Nobody's gonna die.
Yeah, the Guardian Angel is gone though, so wipe the sweat off the brow if you're iBoy and you're EDG, because that could have been the whole game just decided. The missed timing on the knock-up from Ziv, and iBoy just walks away.
He barely was able to get out of there, and he definitely had to make use of all his tank stats as he was able to waddle away on even flash forward in that team fight with Twitch. So we keep on talking about the important flashes on these guys. That one was used offensively to go for the kill the last couple hits, but they were unsuccessful in actually getting those, and now Baron is up in 20 seconds. That could even be the most crucial part, the most crucial outcome of that team fight, even considering a Guardian Angel was blown.
And as you mentioned before, which is even more prevalent now, the control ward setup wasn't actually there. AHQ just found an opportunity, they engaged, but there was no vision set up prior to this. It was just that one chance. So right now, EDG are set up with slight control.
So Kog'Maw got off more damage in that team fight with even the 2.5 offensive items that you're talking about, and on flashing forward.
It's crazy to see how effective this has been from iBoy, but can't afford to get caught out again. Can't afford that situation. It was the damage dealt across the entire game, and on not holding a candle as the Twitch that is fed, as the Twitch that had 5 kills in the early game, might be a little concerning for the side of AHQ.
Okay, entire game taken into account. there in that
Yeah,
one.
the 30k damage team fight for the Kog'Maw would have been pretty nuts.
Had a bunch of zeros on there, no problem. Seems like the 80 carry better right now.
iBoy get caught out again. Westdoor steps forward, but does get punished for it.
Yeah, Westdoor thought that he was stuck with iBoy, realized it wasn't the place he wanted to be. You can't trade with a Kog'Maw by yourself, and that's the state of the game. Westdoor, without teleport, with summoners still up, but he probably has to go back to base or try and fire Warlord's proc. Now half health as Baron's up.
Luckily has the Ardent as well, so not impossible for him to heal up, but a difficult situation to be in. WhiteLotus getting frisky, playing on the front line, ready to force an engage.
Yeah, they're just letting Westdoor auto the minions that come down mid lane here, and now they're going to try and force.
For the Rupture, does connect on the Clear Love. Westdoor just backing off. Both teams waiting. They're looking for that exposed carry, that exposed flank. They haven't found it yet.
You can see the state of the game for the tanks even as well, not going towards the Warmog's build, acknowledging that this team fight will be an all-in affair, and there's no point half fighting, resetting. They are going to all-in, and they're going to kill them or die trying.
And right now, AHQ, I still feel like they're playing scared. They're still backing off. And that means that EDG gets free pass to the Baron. This is a big deal. It's dropping quickly. Mountain's going to move in. We'll get a bit of sight there.
Are they positioning just
Mountain's
for a steal?
ready.
Okay, moving backwards. Who can get it? Clear Love secures it in the end. Now AHQ need to force the fight. Not sure if they want to do it, though. Almost on the other side of the map. iBoy freely cleaning up the backside. Keep your eyes on the Twitch. Free hitting forward, trying to clean up the front line. Clear Love now tanked up, and iBoy coming into the side. He's ready to flank. That is the tank Kog'Maw. He doesn't have to be scared of anybody. He's pushing in. Fighting back. iBoy flying. He's hungry for the kill. He's looking for a little bit more, but he has to back off on stealth. Some good tornado comes out to disengage the fight, but still a massive advantage to EDG.
Yeah, they're going to have Baron buff running straight up mid lane now, and there's a huge minion wave top as well. EDG on the warpath.
Trust iBoy to flash forwards to dodge a Cho'Gath Rupture as well for no reason. Doesn't have the flash, but still all the pressure mid.
TP coming in. We talked about one fight to end the game. It might only take one kill. EDG hungry for a little bit more, but they're tempering that aggression. They're backing off. They're not looking for a 4v5 in the base. They're looking for a few more structures.
That is going to give Mountain time to revive, and HQ are going to have another shot at the team fight, but EDG just left the base in shambles.
And still, the inhibitor, the biggest advantage either team has seen this game. Gold not hugely important past the 40-minute mark. You can see it's in the favor of EDG, but look at the items instead, and we can look at this Baron one more time.
And they make it a 50-50 as well. Mountain just comes in, has the Q there, wants to bop it. The timing from Clear Love with his smite was fantastic, being level 18, almost getting it at the perfect number. And Mountain throws himself away as the fight continues. Zven unkillable, and iBoy's waiting for his W cooldown. Twitch is waiting, he's got his ultimate, and once it runs out, EDG are like, well, let's just go. And iBoy's got a little bit of go, you know, in the system with having to flash there.
I was actually waiting for the moment when iBoy flashes forward onto the Cho'Gath to get his Randuin's proc. He could just flash forward, use the active for the slow to keep the chase, but he didn't get that close. And I also did want to shout out Westdoor for the package that he was able to use there. That was a really nice kind of defensive package to buy some space for On to get off some DPS. And even in the 4-on-5, HQ were pretty formidable in trying to get some damage back.
And we look back at that fight. On a little, you know, he can cut through those tanks, but it still takes a lot of time. iBoy feels like he's having a little bit better time here. Much more survivable, not quite as vulnerable on the backside. And EDG giving On the respect he deserves. Scout and Meiko both playing back, not looking to get in range of the spray and pray there. But still, the map resets. The inhibitor, the biggest advantage, but it will be up before the next Baron. Elder could be the next big arena for both teams to fight in.
And for me, the big difference if you're EDG playing into AHQ is to try and wait for Arn to waste his ultimate, and that's when you push forward. Because whenever Arn has it up, AHQ should have a slight advantage in a direct 5v5 team fight, simply because of the composition and how big Twitch is in this late game scenario.
iBoy pushing in. Not that scared quite yet. Xiye back up. Rupture not going to be the biggest thing on the face of the planet. And Mountain taking a lot of poke just to step forward. HQ hungry to find a fight, hungry to find something in their favor, but just not finding an opportunity whatsoever as EDG playing aggressive and comfortable.
Yeah, and they should be able to clean up this outer turret, but honestly, the gold is, the income's not really mattering much anymore. Everybody's pretty much full builds here, not much space. It's more of an economy of item slots than an actual goal that they need to complete most of them here. It's going to be about this 5-on-5. This is going to This is going to do it for us if they actually decide to force this one. Elder Dragon's up in 15 seconds, though. They might draw them through a jungle corridor.
And AHQ's vision right now, there is a control ward at the blue buff, so they have enough knowledge in the current moment to see if they go towards the Elder Dragon. The question is, when EDG does go, how do AHQ get into the pit? Is it safe? Can we walk there? And are they actually doing the Elder, or is it a bait after all? As is looking.
Oh, playing with fire too, because he's all alone. The mouse is split up from the team. Vision's going to shadow dash out to safety. Zven now feeling a lot more confident. Maybe Mountain has finally found that flank. Scout in trouble. Westdoor doing so much damage. Spear's Refuge buys a little time. Redemption comes back in, and it is Mountain who gets turned on. iBoy grabs the kill. That's one down in favor of EDG.
AHQ cut themselves off. They're separated by the jungle wall here, and Mountain finds himself face to face with Scout, and no DPS to back him up. That's going to be EDG Elder Dragon.
They're fighting in very awkward terrain there, AHQ. The Elder Dragon's the queuing with everyone pretty much at full build. Even the Phantom Dancer for Scout, his pass boots, they're a thing of the past for him. Now do they push 40 seconds on the clock for Gragas?
Is this the final nail in the coffin for AHQ? Will EDG be able to find their first one at Worlds? Take down their sister team, take down a team that they have played against so much, extend that 10-game record. 9-2 instead of the 8-2. They're pushing forward for more. On still looking for that opportunity. Has all summoners available.
30 seconds means that HQ need to clear one more minion wave for Mountain to get back up. EDG are probably going to be able to get the turret before he does so, but they won't be able to end the game before Mountain is up. HQ have one more chance.
iBoy pushing in. Westdoor now in trouble. iBoy on the front lines, but will take a lot of damage back. Tower will go down as predicted. Will the inhibitor follow? It looks like AHQ just going to back off here. On Hungry, find that opportunity. Leaps in onto Scout. Now Mouse needs to back up as well. They're pushing in, but they're kiting so well on the side of EDG. AHQ, not certain if they want to take the fight. Righteous Glory comes out. Clear Love holding onto the ult. Patience on the trigger finger.
So tense between these teams, but neither of them has the engage necessary to just straight up kill the other person. And so they just walk at each other, back and forth. They're just dancing.
We talk a lot about the Baron dance, but the 50-minute no-engage teamfight dance is not one that I'm always familiar with. Clearlove still hasn't found that opportunity as we move later in the game to isolate that key target. We can praise AHQ and On for using the stealth of Twitch well, only going in when he knows he has a chance to free fire. But still, setting us up for one final team fight, setting us up for a Baron. 44 seconds holds us back. That's the arena. We're waiting. They're queuing up for PvP right now, boys.
One more chance, one more team fight, one more chance. All right, well, we're definitely going to get one more Baron in just 30 seconds here, boys. Vision has gone down. The setup we keep talking about, this team fight, building up, which AD carry is actually going to get caught at the beginning. Is there going to be a key rupture here coming through?
We're past the Bramble Vest. Westdoor has built it to survive lane. He has survived lane. He is now a full build Corki. The Bramble Vest has been sold. He has hit the threshold.
There's two Knights Vows as well for both Corki and for Twitch on the side of AHQ. So a lot of protection there for the two carries. And Westdoor, finally by being full build, is a second major carry on the team. And a major force to work with on. A second threat is what they need.
Now Righteous Glory forward again. iBoy going to try to isolate. He's in the middle of the team. He may just get taken down with a beautiful flash away. Will keep him alive. AHQ trying to reset the fight, but Scout is now pushing in. iBoy is free hitting onto the line. Zven is so tanky, but it might not be enough for redemption. Healing up AHQ. No one has died yet, but Mouse has isolated himself. They're pushing forward. The Rupture leaping in, and bye-bye to Scout. AHQ, they're finding the edge. They're pushing in for more. One more Rupture. Meiko sidestep, but it will cost him his life. Mountain wants to keep it going. The Baron in the sights of AHQ. This could be their game.
There's minions on their inhibitor right now, so they could finish the Baron for the empowered recall if they want. Send one person to clear off those minions, that person being Ziv, who has teleport, and try and pressure.
Baron is going to drop. No one there to contest. EDG backing off, not looking to double down there, not looking to take a big risk that could end the game. This is AHQ with Baron in their back pocket, but the inhibitor will drop. Wuhan's happy to see that. That could very well mean that AHQ won't be able to get a greater advantage here.
Minions are the real MVP in that last battle for the side of EDG. The side waves were set up, but still 25 seconds on mid lane, 30 seconds on Meiko, and with the Baron, AHQ look to pressure.
iBoy, Clear Love, and Mouse versus the world. No support, no second damage source here.
We're probably going to see them use the teleport on this first minion that hits the Nexus turrets. HQ want to finish it before Scout gets back.
Moving up, looking for the opportunity. iBoy uncontested. They might just
Well, they've got it.
Hours. iBoy's been knocked back into the middle of the team. The Xiye will be procced, but they're ready this time around. The rupture not going to connect home, but it does not matter. AHQ in the face of disaster managed to find the fight, managed to find their win condition. Scout, he's just poking at him, but it does not matter because this is their Nexus. This is their game. AHQ going to find their first win on the world stage.